So, can you tell me one place from a Tamil Nadu or Andhra Pradesh or a Uttar Pradesh or a Kashmir or Northeast where history is not shaped by geography? If you are living in Tulu lands in Karnataka, your history, your culture is shaped by your geography, your forests, your jal, jungle and jameen. If you are living in a Guntur region, your culture is shaped by your geography. If you are living near Krishna or Godavari, your culture and your history is shaped by your geography. If you are living in a Kashmir valley, your history, your culture is shaped by your geography. Your experiences with people, your interaction with people, your trade, your historical trade routes, your economy, and how and what you will eat and what you will wear, how you will engage with the world. All of this is culture, and all of this depends on geography. So without geographical knowledge, you can't read history, you can't read culture. And without the knowledge of geography, for sure, you cannot understand the diversity of Indian society. GS paper 1. Why you need fifth or sixth schedule? Why you need sixth schedule in Northeast? Why you need special provisions for a Assam or a Tripura or a Mizoram or a Manipur? It's simple. Because of their geography. Immense rainfall, dense forest, evergreen forest, which gives way to a particular way of living of tribes, which is rooted in nature. If you go to Andaman and if you look at the Ongs or Jarvas, by the way, they are tribes, for the people who don't know. Yes. Their way of life, their culture, their diversity, it is shaped by geography. The skin color of you and your brother or sister living in Tamil Nadu is different because of geography, because they are living in tropical regions, they are humid. The crops that they are growing, now come down. Distribution of key natural resources. You go to a Tamil Nadu, you will see the resources such as iron ore or coal and similar, and that is why you will see industries in Chennai. You come to an Odisha, you will see a Rourkela. You go to a Jharkhand where there is enough mines of manganese and iron, and you will see a Jamshedpur, Tata Steel. So, your geography, your minerals, your mines, they are deciding what kind of economy the state will have. There are states like Bihar, where North Bihar, due to incessant rain and flood, it is only dependent on agriculture. States like Uttar Pradesh, which does not have that kind of mineral wealth, and they are dependent on agriculture. So now just think about it. When you say that there is urbanization happening and UPSC sees urbanization as a problem, why? Because you are not taking geography and natural resources into account while planning for your village. Yani ki your Gram Panchayat is not making Gram Panchayat development plan according to the resources available in your geography, or they are not maximizing the resources, natural resources available in their geography. In simple words, they are ignoring their geography while planning for the development. GS paper 1, poverty and development issues. You will be forced towards urbanization when your rural planning, when Gram Panchayat development plan will not be able to take care of poverty. GS paper 1. Or women and women's organization. Suppose in Assam, you know that there is chai bagan, tea plantation, and women are usually involved in tea plantation works. That is a separate issue, that their salaries are low and whatever, that needs to be taken care of. But women are engaged in tea plantation activities, which means that you have to plan according to your geography and natural resources available. Now that takes you to GS paper, Now think about one thing. Suppose you are able to today map your resources by satellites. You have a satellite named ResourceSat, RSat, and that is able to map your entire natural resources, where you have river, what kind of water level you have, what kind of minerals you have, what kind of mines you have. Everything can be mapped by these satellites, right? And then you can plan. So, effect of globalization on your society. How globalization has made development planning easy for you. And then it is also the globalization that is resulting in the changes in water bodies and ice caps. Because due to globalization, you are emitting more carbon. You have more refrigerators, you have more air conditioners, you are emitting more carbon, and that is resulting into global warming, which is resulting into melting off or change of ice caps and water bodies. Impact of globalization on geography. An impact of geography on globalization. You will see that in Northeast, the level of globalization or rootedness in their culture is still there rather than in plains, suppose in Delhi or in Hyderabad or in Bangalore. Why? Because due to their geographies, Delhi, Hyderabad or Bangalore has been a cosmopolitan cities. They became global cities. They attracted investment, and that is why you will see a cosmopolitan culture which is also threatening your local culture, which was the question of UPSC last year, if you remember. We are losing our local identity due to our global identity. GS paper 1 2020 or 29, I guess. Sorry, 19. So you need to understand one thing, that impact of geography is also there on globalization. Because Northeast it receives huge rainfall, there are a lot of forests, so there are a lot of landslides. So it is not geographically conducive to, build high rises and open an IBM office in, say, Guwahati. Maybe tomorrow they open one, right? But it is more tedious than establishing one in Bangalore. So there is an impact of geography on globalization. Globalization will touch the plains first and the hills later, or the more segregated, more disconnected areas later. Suppose if you compare the level of globalization between, say, Delhi and Uttarkashi, Uttarakhand, or Delhi and Tirunelveli. So you will see that. So geography also impacts the pace of globalization. I'm expanding your horizons. Before starting any topic, the first class, that is why I always say, whenever you take first class, it is one of the most important class of any subject, any topic. Why? Because there you learn to understand how you have to connect the entire syllabus with that topic. And then the next point is regionalism in GS1. The next point is doubt sare baad mein. The next point is regionalism. Now, when you say social empowerment and regionalism, now think about one thing. If you are talking about, say, Northeast, in Northeast, in Assam, let's say, recently there was a Telangana movement. Telangana state was made out of Andhra Pradesh. What was the basis of Telangana movement? Language? No. Developmental disparity. Why developmental disparity? Because they said that Telangana receives less rainfall. Telangana falls in Rayalaseema region, due to which the agriculture is stunted. Natural resources are not present jitna Andhra Pradesh mein. Now, geography aggravated developmental disparity, and developmental disparity led to regionalism. And that is why Telangana was born. Similarly, you can go to Assam. In Assam, they started Matir Manu movement, sons of the soil. What was the background of that movement? They said that Indian government is exploiting the resources of Assam and not giving anything in return. They said that you are mining oil from Digboi or Nahar Katia. And from there, you are mining oil from oil wells and you are not giving anything in return. You are taking all the resources of Assam. And we are stunted, we are poor. So, they said that you are taking away the resources that we have and not doing anything in return. Localization of resources or local population must benefit from their geographical resources. Again, geography gave way to regionalism. Think about Kashmir. It is Kashmir's geography which separated it from India and Pakistan both. The Vale of Kashmir, what do you mean by Vale? It is surrounded, the entire valley was surrounded by mountains, it was a segregated valley. It enjoyed its own culture. And that is why they always thought that we can be independent. Even few people still harbor that ambition in this fragile and conflict-ridden world. Why? One factor was always geography. They thought that we are different because we are living in a valley which has separate culture. But so does Assam Valley have separate culture, or any valley in Uttarakhand or any valley in Himachal have different culture. Suppose Lahore, Spiti Valley has a different culture, like Kashmir. Nanda Valley has different culture, like Kashmir. Any valley in Assam or Sikkim has different culture, right? But again, that level of diversity is happening due to geography. So that's just one paper, GS1. If you come to GS2, think about managing this diversity that geography is creating. Geography is creating this diversity. People of Tamil Nadu, they are speaking different language, they are of different skin color. People of Northeast, they look different, they speak different language. People of Punjab, they look different, they speak different language. People of Rajasthan, they look different, they speak different languages. All of this diversity was maintained and managed by Constitution by writing one word. And what was that? We the people of India. That sense of belonging was given by this one word, we the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, secular, sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic. So two words, we the people and secularism. Again, I have always said secularism is just not religion. Secularism is the ability to be open. Secularism is the ability to accept. Secularism is being dynamic. Secularism is being able to protect your diversity while upholding your sovereignty. So, when you look at GS paper 2, point number 1, Indian Constitution features, historical underpinnings and evolution. The great minds in Constituent Assembly, they knew that there is diversity in India, there is geographical, the geography is the basic root cause of diversity in India. The geography of Punjab made it possible for invaders to reach to Panipat and Delhi, the fertile lands of Punjab and Haryana, due to which the rulers wanted to rule Delhi, because it was said that Punjab was the gateway. Once you reach Punjab, from there you can reach Delhi. And Punjab and Haryana were fertile lands. They knew that if they have to win Delhi, they have to win Punjab and Haryana. So I'm just saying that that geography has made you diverse. And Constitution has protected that diversity. Because Constitution makers knew that you have a vast and diverse geography, right? Then if you move ahead, Constitution makers also knew that every state has different geography, that every state's need will be different, so every state must be given some power to govern in their autonomous capacity, hence the distribution of power among states and center. States are given some power and union is giving some power, the federalism of the country. Why? To protect geographical diversity. To maintain geographical diversity without alienating any state. Separation of powers. Right? If you go ahead, now think about one thing. Geography has direct link with hunger and poverty. How? If you look at areas of Bundelkhand, Odisha, or say areas of Rayalaseema region, or Vidarbha in Maharashtra, or Rajasthan near Thar, these areas, they either don't receive good amount of rainfall, which jeopardizes their agriculture, or they are such mining areas where due to heavy industrial mining, agriculture is not feasible, and they are just doing their labor work in the mines. Due to this, you will see that there is hunger in these areas and there is poverty in these areas. Or there are tribal belts who are not doing agriculture, or they just rely on jhum cultivation, or hunting and gathering, or hunting is banned now, so only gathering. Areas like Kalahandi, there you will see hunger. If you come to Madhya Pradesh, areas like Shiopur, which is prone to disaster every year. Shiopur of Madhya Pradesh, I already told you that it falls between two rivers, Parvati and Chambal. And every year there is flood. So there is no soil quality, agriculture is not possible there. And due to that, the continuous due to recurring disasters, they frequently fall into the poverty trap. And then hunger. So GS paper 2 also mentions issues relating to poverty and hunger. Suppose you are a district magistrate and you don't know anything about geography. वो पीछे कह रहे थे ना उस दिन, ठीक? So tell me how you will plan. You don't know rivers, you don't know minerals, you don't know what kind of disaster will come the next year. How you will plan? How you will ensure a viable economic plan for your district? Without geography, it is not possible. How many of you will agree that geography also affects accessibility to health and education? Geography also affects accessibility to health and education. You are living in Leh at the height of 18,000 feet. So nearest AIMS will be far than living in J Block Palam Vihar. So geography has been a barrier in accessibility to public utilities, health, education and all that. That is why government is trying to bridge this gap. More focus on connectivity, building roads and infrastructure so that this gap can be bridged. So if you are living in, say, a northeast or a Himalayan region, the accessibility to public utility services will be limited in comparison with living in plains, right? So geography also limits your options. A person who is suffering from a disease in Lahaul Spiti Valley, he will be receiving the super specialty treatment in, say, 24 hours. You can have that in 1 hour, right? So geography creates those barriers in governance, in accessing public utilities, and so geography also creates barriers in your human development index. Education, health, अगर आपकी accessibility खराब है, तो you will also feel that human development indices will also can be affected. Then, geography plays an important role in bureaucracy. Why? If your DM does not know the geography of your district, then tell me how he will plan. How he will plan? It is not possible. So knowledge of geography is prerequisite of all the planning for bureaucracy. And then the last point of GS paper 2, not last but yes, without the knowledge and power to Gram Panchayats, you cannot make geography specific, localized plans. Yesterday we talked about it. If you don't give that autonomous power to your Gram Panchayat or to your districts, how will you plan? How will you ensure that they are able to solve the local problems? So for that, you also need to localize your planning. Localizing the planning means geography specific planning. That is why you say we are moving towards GIS mapping. Every village, every town, every city is mapped by satellites. And then according to those resources the plan is made. Right? So you need to understand that without this decentralized planning to satisfy and to efficiently use the resources available in that geography and to cater to the problems of that geography, you cannot decentralize planning, you cannot have efficient planning. And then the last part of GS2. Without the knowledge of geography, without using your geography well, you cannot have an efficient foreign policy. If you are not aware about your boundaries, if you are not aware about the disputes around your boundaries, if you are not aware about the challenges that your geography poses, if you are not aware about the opportunities that your geography gives, how can you have an efficient foreign policy? how can you have an efficient foreign policy without knowing that you have a 7,500 kilometer long coastline that presents plenty of opportunities and plethora of challenges, from trade to securitizing your coastlines. And if you don't know that you have a mountainous frontier on the north, where you have two of your bitter enemies, how can you plan for a foreign policy? China and Pakistan. So you need to understand one thing, that without this geographical awareness, without this domain awareness, without your location awareness, how India can say that India can be the link to Southeast Asia without awareness of geography? India says that we can be the link. Myanmar is the gateway to Southeast Asia, and India shares border with the Myanmar. India is building a trilateral highway from Delhi to Myanmar, to Thailand. Why? Because geographical awareness. So without that geographical awareness, how can you project yourself as a rising power or as a global power? Or you can say that if this is to be Asian century, we are the goddamn most important country for Asia because of our location, because we share border with the Middle East. If you consider Pakistan, we are in South Asia and we are the gateway to the Southeast Asia, and we share border with China. So we are, plus we have ports and 7,500 kilometer coastline. So we can facilitate your trade. We can connect you to Southeast Asia. And we can also be the global net security provider in this region. We can provide security to these countries. And we can be a viable option against China. You will not be able to say that if you don't have awareness about your geography. That is your GS2. Now come to GS3. Now tell me, how can you plan your economy without knowing about your geographical resources? How? How you can plan your industries? How will you decide that we will import this, export that, without knowing that you actually have iron, manganese, copper, all that? So for your economic planning, you first of all, what you should have is resource atlas, where you know that these are my natural resources. How many rivers I have, how much electricity I can produce, how much uranium I have, how much electricity can I produce by nuclear reactors, how much gold I have, how much iron I have, what quantity of steel quantity and quality of steel I can produce. And then you can plan your economy. Then you can say, okay, I am in a position to have these many industries, I can give employment to these many things. So, GS paper 3, first point, third phrase, mobilization of. How will you mobilize resources without knowing about resources? So the first point of economic planning is knowing your geography well. That is why there is NCERT called India, People and Economy. In 12th class, I guess, right? Where they are talking about how much resources you have. And then development and employment. Without your geography, how can you develop? How can you provide employment if you don't know about your resources? If you don't know how many mines you have, how can you plan your industries? And if you can't plan your industries, what you will do? Right? So, most important part of economy is geography. Without geography, suppose you put a nuclear reactor at a place where every year there is earthquake. Is it a good idea? You can't put a nuclear reactor where there is earthquake every year. Otherwise you will build a nuclear reactor, invest 11,000 crore, and next year there is earthquake and dada tirket dha. Right? So you must have that awareness. How I will plan my things, how I will plan my resources. That is why they need you to read geography. That is why they need you to learn where there is seismicity, where there is landslide, where there is water resources, where there is rivers. Because suppose you are sitting in Karnataka, and the village people come and they say, sir, there is a huge crisis of drinking water. But you know that Saravati river is nearby. And then you think, why? If there is a river, then why there is a drinking water crisis? And then you will start finding it, and then you will find that some industrialists, they are dumping waste and they are at that river, which has made the waters of that river unfit to drink. You must have this knowledge, right? Then inclusive growth and issues arising from it. What was the problem of Telangana? Telangana said that the growth is not inclusive. Telangana said that the growth is not inclusive. All the investment is coming into the Simandra part of the Andhra Pradesh, Vijayawada and all that area, right? Telangana is not getting any investment. Why? Because they said that there is no inclusive growth. The area of Rayalaseema region was neglected due to its geographical features, that it does not receive rainfall. That was their contention. Right? Then, government budgeting. Suppose you are a secretary in the finance ministry and you are tasked with, your pen will write the budget of India. But you don't know reverse, because while preparing for UPSC you thought that बाद में पढ़ लेंगे. ठीक? So ऐसी स्थिति में a state has demanded 20,000 crore rupees extra for drinking water for Har Nal Se Jal scheme. Why? Because they said that we don't have water. So we have to put STP, sewage treatment plants, and from there we have to turn it into the potable water, and we need 20,000 crore rupees extra. But you are a aware person. You know that they have good amount of rivers and lakes. So you will say, no, I am giving you 600 crore to revive those lakes and rivers. So do that first. And if I see that you are doing it well, then I will think about your next round of funding. But if you don't know, then you will sign 20,000 crore. And then if finance minister तुमको धुलेगी पकड़ के कि पैसा तो limited था, तुमने कहाँ फेंक दिया? You have to save every penny when you are in finance ministry. The best example is of there is a famous story that a person was, first he was in finance ministry as a JS or something, and then he was first he was in defense ministry as a JS or something, and then he was transferred to the finance ministry. So he said that when I was in defense, I used to fight for every penny. Give me more, give me more, give me more. And when I went to the finance, then also I was fighting for every penny. I will not give you more, I will not give you more, because 20 other people are demanding. So your jobs will change overnight, but the contention remains same. You have to understand that the secretary who is asking money. There is a very famous story during the Atal Bihari Vajpayee government. Shanta Kumar was the minister of public distribution. Food and public distribution, and Yashwant Sinha was Minister of Finance. So Shanta Kumar was saying that let's eradicate hunger from the country. They wanted to start a Annapurna scheme, which meant that you will give this amount of rice and wheat to every household in the country. What is happening now under NFSA? Yashwant Sinha said we don't have that much money. So Shanta Kumar said that without making your population hunger free and poverty free, you cannot expect them to be a good human resource. Only then they can contribute to your economy. But Yashwant Sinha said no, we have to protect our borders. Shanta Kumar said for protecting your borders, your human resource has to be healthy. But Yashwant Sinha said no, but attack can happen now and it will take 10 years to have that workforce ready. I have to prepare for now. I understand your point. Shanta Kumar was not yielding ground. Atalji intervened. And Atalji said, बात तो आपकी भी ठीक है, लेकिन अभी थोड़ा रुक जाइए. So finally the scheme was rolled out with a limited, to a limited population and not to the entire population. But that is how the government works. Government does not have endless money. Right? So government budgeting cannot happen without geography. And now tell me, you don't know anything about geography but you are an agriculture expert. Is it possible? Am I right, Janvi? So the bottom line is, you must know the amount of rainfall a region receives, the amount of moisture soil has, the amount of arid areas you have, the amount of desertification you have, the amount of rivers you have. Without knowing that, how you can plan your agriculture? That is why an agriculture expert or an agriculture secretary must be well versed with the geography. And there is no separate paper for agriculture secretary. That is why they ask geography in UPSC. Right? So, without knowing Ministry of Earth Sciences मुझे हायर करना चाहते हैं looking at my expertise in monsoon and cyclones, but I said no. You saved the entire human race by that answer. Right? So the idea is that suppose you are a agriculture secretary in Ministry of Agriculture and you are in charge of irrigating the entire India. Suppose. Right? And you want to make a dam in Meghalaya. So making a dam in Meghalaya is important, or making a dam in, say, Andhra Pradesh or Telangana is important? Needed. So damming the water in Andhra Pradesh is more needed. Why? Because they receive less rainfall. They don't have that kind of rainfall. So you cannot plan for irrigation, you cannot make a viable plan for irrigation without knowing about the rainfall patterns. Now you cannot say that I will do flood irrigation in Rajasthan. You cannot say that I will do micro irrigation in Meghalaya. There is no point. Right. So the idea is, from cropping patterns to irrigation, everything will depend on your geography. Right. Now you say that I will do Pashmina shawl in Uttar Pradesh. It can't happen, because the Pashmina shawl का जो wool है, it comes from वाह गजब, हम सबको अभी भी पता चला कि वूल शीप से निकलता है. ठीक, it comes from
वो भी आज ही पता चला मेरे को।
कौन बताएगा? Chumathang Plateau in Changthang Valley. वो गोट ही, मतलब चुमाथंग वैली की जो चंगथंग ट्राइब की गोट है उसी के नाम पर वो चलता है, ठीक है। चुमाथंग ट्राइब है, चंगथंग वैली है, पहले मैंने वो बोला था, ठीक है। तो यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट यू कैन नॉट डू दैट इन उत्तर प्रदेश because this specific variety of sheep is happening in Kashmir. So without the geography, now suppose you have to establish a food processing industry. Would you establish a food processing industry of say tea making, like tea processing in Bundelkhand, Uttar Pradesh? You can't. बिकॉज चाय बागान तो असम में है या साउथ में है, ठीक है। सिमिलरली इफ इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, एनर्जी, पोर्ट, रोड, एयरपोर्ट एंड रेलवेज, इट इज डिफिकल्ट टू बिल्ड दीज इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर्स इन हाई ऑल्टीट्यूड्स. It is difficult to build roads or airports or railways in high altitude areas. Right? And then science and technology and so first of all science and technology. So how many of you will agree that science and technology have bridged these geographical barriers to an extent? Suppose if you can't travel, then you can learn remotely in a village. Suppose you can't travel, you can take online consultation from a doctor from those remote villages. Right? So limits imposed by geography, GS paper 1, can be bridged by science and technology, GS paper 3, if you enable e-governance, GS paper 2. Everything is connected in UPSC syllabus. Please open your eyes. And then conservation, environmental pollution and degradation, environmental impact assessment. So would you want to mine coal from Mount Everest or a Kanchenjunga? No, because you know that that will jeopardize the entire Himalayan ecosystem. The ice will be melted, rivers will be dry, and then your entire agriculture will be finished. ठीक? So you cannot do coal mining in Himalayas. You need to understand that you have to protect mountain ecosystems. Because when you will protect mountain ecosystems, only then your perennial rivers will survive. Yes. Only then your glaciers will not melt. And only then your endangered species living in these Himalayan ecosystems will survive. And that takes us to sustainable and eco-friendly tourism, which can come also under GS2, human resource, and also under GS3, environment, conservation of environment. Right? Entire climate change, entire aspect of global warming, for that to develop a adaptation or mitigation strategy against climate change, to develop a model of smart agriculture against climate change, you must know geography. You must understand, you must have a map that these areas are where the impact of climate change is maximum. The rainfall patterns are being varied here maximum. Only then you can develop a strategy against climate change. And then internal security. Tell me 3 famous Naxalite areas.
Silchar district, Assam.
Bastar.
Naxal area.
Sukma. Sukma.
पूरे दंड कारण्य जो रामायण से लेकर
Exactly. All 3 names that you can think of, Sukma, Bastar, Dantewada, all will fall in Dandakaranya area, which is distributed among Chhattisgarh, Odisha, thoda sa Madhya Pradesh, thoda sa Maharashtra, and Andhra Pradesh also. Now Dandakaranya is a forest area, and that is why it was easier for Naxals to hide there. They will kill people in one state and they will run to other state, and they will hide in the forests. And there they will do all kind of smuggling. Timber smuggling was the biggest occupation, not occupation, but biggest source of revenue. So your geography also gives you protection. If you have forest, if you have mountains, you go to an Afghanistan. The geography is shielding Taliban. Geography is ensuring that powers like America and Russia, they lose from Taliban. They have every odd against themselves. Numbers, technology, weapons, everything. But still they won. Why? Geography. Now you think about linkages between development and spread of extremism. These areas are underdeveloped because of their geography. Huge rainfall or no rainfall. Too much forest or totally desert. And due to that, there is lack of economic opportunities. And due to that, there is extremism. So, all of GS papers have geography as their linking theme. And even the last 2 topics of geography. Security forces are also divided on the geography. ITBP, India-Tibet Border Force, Indo-Tibet Border Force. Assam Rifles, Border Security Force, Sashastra Seema Bal. They have tasked with different geographies, that you will go to the Tibet border, you will go to Bangladesh border, you will go here, you will go there. And their expertise lies in handling that geographical terrain. Similarly, when you say this role of media and social media, if you are living in a geography where there is lack of economic opportunities, it is easier for social media to influence you, because you already have fault lines. Because you already know that I am living in a disadvantaged geography, or I am living in a geography where their health and education and employment is not up to the mark. And that is why when these differences overlap, the divisions are created. The divisions between Kashmir and rest of India, the divisions between tribals and rest of India, the divisions between northeast and India, all of these divisions have one thing in common, and that is geographical differences. When these geographical differences overlap with any other differences, they become a division. For example, suppose you have some geographical disadvantages, geographical differences, and then they overlap with maladministration. Administration is poor, governance is poor, there is corruption in the governance, there is huge lack of employment, there is huge corruption. What will happen? They will be alienated. So, before we start geography, this session was needed to tell you to ensure geography is the reason for war like for resources. Exactly. If you see the Gulf War, Iran-Iraq war happened because of the oil. In America has invaded countries for oil. So now you should understand. Changpas was the tribe's name. Yes, Changpas, Pashmina tribe, Pashmina shawl. The geography is one of the most important part of your syllabus, but also one of the most easiest part to cover, because everything in geography lies on why, and every why has an answer. It is a different matter whether you should know that why or not, but every why in geography has a definite answer. Entire subject is conceptual.